Kick it off, Stephen. We are live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. So people are joining in now, so I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds here before we get going.
Yeah, we got quite a few people already here, which is awesome. Stephen, we're excited to have you be hosting the webinar today. I know you guys are usually used to seeing my face, but we do have Stephen today. Stephen is actually a new member of the Hatch team, and he is our product marketing manager. So he's going to be kicking off this webinar today. Hey, Deanna Nielsen, good to see you. Thanks for chatting in.
Yes, and bear with me as this is my first Hatch webinar, so I do have my notes next to me. So if you see me looking to the side, just making sure that we cover everything that we need to today.
Stephen is locked and loaded. He's ready to go. Yeah, if you guys while we're waiting, we want to give you guys a minute or two to come in. But if you want to put into the chat your name, Deanna has kind of kicked us off already. But if you want to put in your name, your role, and your company, it's always good for us to see like what you're representing. We usually get a mix of people that are, some of them are marketing managers, some of them are sales directors, some of you are appointment setters, you're working in dispatch. So we always just like to see who we're talking to so we can cater the conversation. So absolutely, feel free to chat in. There's always an awkward gap because people do chat in, but it takes a second. There we go. Neil Stake, Exterior
Awesome.
Pros, call center manager. Great to have you here, Neil.
James, Plouffe marketing manager. Renewal by Anderson, love it. Window World, cool. Love to see the mix of different industries here. That's awesome.
Melissa, your last name. I'm going to take a shot at how to pronounce that. Oh my gosh, maybe I won't. Nibrizda. That's if you want to put in, Melissa, how to pronounce your last name, that would be awesome.
Love Apex.
Yeah, cool. Well, you guys can keep chatting in. Steven, if you want to kick us off and just kind of let us know what this webinar is about and take it away, I think we're ready to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm Steven. I'm over on our marketing team here at Hatch. I'm joined today with our head of marketing, Kristen, who I'm sure everyone has seen many times on these webinars before. And I'm also joined with our growth manager, Brandy Jackson, and also on our product team, we have Chris Wren, and both of them are kind of like our voice AI experts. So really excited to have them here with us today. With this webinar, I'm going to start with just kind of going through sort of what the state of voice AI at Hatch and kind of the industry in general is right now. Then we're going to move it over to Brandy, who is going to actually go through a demo of what voice AI looks like in Hatch, which I'm sure is why everyone is here today. So really excited to have that. Then we're going to pass it over to Chris, who's going to kind of chat through some of the stuff that we have in the pipeline coming up with voice. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A. So we'll answer any of the questions you guys have. So even though that's happening at the end, please feel free to ask any questions, input anything in the chat as we're going through things. We'll make sure we answer all that at the end as well. So before I kick it off to Brandy, just sort of a quick sort of state of voice AI at the moment. So voice has really gone from sort of a more experimental tool to quickly becoming sort of a daily operational tool for a lot of different companies across different verticals, especially in home services. And we're seeing some pretty insane results from anything from plumbing to electricians to sort of remodeling any other home services business. Again, excuse me, this is my very first webinar that I'm doing.
You are good, Steven. You take a deep breath.
Yeah.
We're excited to have you here, Steven. We're excited to be talking about voice AI today. So
yeah, totally. So again, before we go into the actual demo where you can actually see how Hatch voice AI works, just wanted to share a few sort of success highlights that we've seen with customers that are already using voice AI in Hatch. So for example, we have like a bathroom modeling company that saw a 35% higher response rate from the leads that voice was following up with their customers. So that was like an insane boost in revenue for them. We had another customer use voice to quickly kind of qualify new leads by service area. So they were saving their sales reps many, many hours each week. not just by answering calls, but also making sure that they're answering the right calls and actually qualifying these leads and getting the right people to their actual humans. We also had a roofing company in Florida that recently got voice, and in the first 60 days, they were able to attribute $365,000 in revenue growth just from getting voice, and also Hatch AI with SMS and email as well. So that was a really awesome stat to see. I could keep rambling on a bunch of great stats that we've seen from our customers, but I know everyone's really here to see the voice in action. So I'll give it to Brandy soon. But before I pass it over, I also want to mention that we do have a pretty new update to our voice AI as well, which is templates. So what templates allow you to do is very quickly create a new voice AI bot without having to go through hours and days of figuring out what instructions do I need to put, what are going to be all the questions that I need to make sure that the bot's going to answer correctly. With this, you're able to quickly choose your industry, your use case, if it's like speed to lead, or if it's like qualifying estimate follow-ups or something like that. You're able to just quickly go through and be like, okay, I'm an HVAC company. I need to have like a speed to lead bot, and it'll automatically create these templates for you. And that works for voice and also SMS and email with all these different AI bots that you can choose from. Just want to mention that that's a new update that saves you a lot of time and really makes the process really, really seamless.
Yeah. And one thing I want to quickly talk about, Stephen, is, again, I know you guys are excited to see the voice AI demo, but a few things. So Stephen and I have been working together to do some, case studies on voice AI. So, he was going through some of the stats that we've seen, which of course is always compelling, but I want to back up for a second and just share a few of the anecdotal stories that some of our customers have shared. Because I think it helps you guys to also understand, we know that voice is still pretty new overall. Voice AI is new overall. So it's kind of like new territory that everybody is venturing into together. And everybody's always had a little bit of hesitation. Can you trust an AI agent to talk to your customers? But a few things Stephen, I'm sure you can attest to this. One of the things that I love that one of our customers said was that nobody, especially for we have a mix of industries here. We've got home improvement and we've got home services. And the home services especially, nobody really calls a home services company when they're in a good mood, right? If your heating system is broken and you're freezing, or if your AC is broken and you're sweating, you're never in a good mood. So she just made a really great point that she does like that the voice AI has intonation, and was mentioning that the AI actually will go through different layers of questioning to actually get to the emotional part of the problem. And we know that human CSRs do that too. But it's just been really cool to hear how the AI does have some built-in intelligence, even though they didn't prompt this. This bot's name was Denise. They didn't prompt her to do that, but just kind of stuff like that we thought was really cool. So if you guys have any questions about how the AI is handling those more human or personal interactions, feel free to put that into the chat as well. And the other thing I wanted to touch on too was for the templates. So Brandy is going to show you what those templates look like. And what Stephen touched on was this webinar is focused primarily on voice AI, because we want you guys to get a sneak peek at how it looks behind the scenes and how people are using it. But those templates also apply to our SMS and email AI. So we know that for SMS and email AI, we typically have an agent that is dedicated to certain campaigns. So for those of you who are not Hatch users yet, we have speed to lead campaigns, that's instant lead outreach, and then there's estimate follow-up. There are certain dedicated campaigns. So we have agents that kind of specialize in each of those areas, and we have templates that are built on best practices. You can still modify them. For voice, it's a little bit harder because anybody calling into your business is, that could be for a number of reasons. So that template also covers those multiple use cases. So I just wanted to put in those points because Stephen brought up some good stuff there. I didn't want to just I wanted to draw a little more attention to that. But yeah, over to you, Brandy, if you want to show us the AI agent setup. Oh, one more thing. And how to pronounce, Melissa put in how to pronounce her name. It is, Nieberdowski. So for those of you on the call, now you know how to pronounce her last name. Thank you, Melissa.
Awesome. Well, hello everyone. My name is Brandy. I'm the growth manager here at Hatch. Excited to be walking everyone through a demonstration of our Voice AI product today. And we're also going to run through 2 live examples of what a conversation would look like with my bot, Grace. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. So now we should be taking a look at a Kanban style view here on my sales board. I always like to start out on the sales board when we're talking about any of our AI solutions, but especially Voice AI. What we can see here is I have an inbox, a sold, and a customer service column. The bot is going to be managing these customer conversations from the inbox to the columns that they are going to end up in based on the end result of that conversation. This is a completely customizable view, as we see with the add column button here. But what the bot is going to be doing as it progresses in those conversations is dispositioning those conversations to that column so that your teams are able to identify everything the bot has sold, serviced, or anything they may need to follow up on. If we jump in to one of those contact cards, this is where we see every single time a call came into the Voice AI bot. Over on the right-hand side, we're also saving a transcript as well as the recording itself. If we jump back to the sales board, over on the left-hand side, we can actually see the AI agents button. This is where we're going to actually start setting up the bot itself. When we get here into the bot setup, it's always going to bring us first to the persona tab. And the persona tab is actually going to consist of the AI agent name, voice, and a spam call filter. So the first thing that I'm going to cover is that we do need to give the bot a name. I've gone ahead and highlighted Grace because that's the name of my bot that we're going to be speaking with today. After that, we do have the ability to select one of our voices, as this is going to be a solution that is handling customer conversations on the phone. So I have Jacqueline selected for mine, but we do have multiple options and the ability to sample each voice before we select. After we move along from selecting the voice itself, we do have the ability to create a spam call filter. One of the great things that the bots have been able to do since we launched Voice AI is provide our customers' teams a lot of time back in their day by removing any type of spam calls and service calls that the bots are able to handle off of their team's hands, allowing them to work more effectively. After we move on from the persona tab, we're going to move into the knowledge base, which is where we're going to actually be onboarding the bot. This is where we should think of as the brains of the bot. And the first thing that we do is we scrape the website for what's called a business profile, teaching the bot about the business, things like the business name, category, hours of operation, a link to the website, the description, service area, services and products. The bot's going to be able to speak knowledgeably to all of those things, just like a member of the team would. After we move on from the business profile, we are able to build out individual frequently asked questions that we want the bot armed and able to answer on a regular basis. What we can see here is I just have what is your after hours service policy as an example for mine, but the add item button is how we get those questions, responses added, and save as we go. We're able to add up to 100 of those FAQs, I like to point out. Additionally, what we have after the FAQ portion of the bot is the documents tab, which is where we're able to provide the bot any type of relevant documentation, maybe membership services, objection handling. We are able to give the bot any type of documents that the team has in order to make sure they're speaking off of the same sheet of music. Sometimes we will work with our customers to break any type of scripting into a document versus a prompt, but that's something that we have dedicated Voice AI account managers for. After we move along from the documents tab is where we're actually able to start using existing customer data to personalize that experience or reference any type of relevant data the customers may be inquiring on. So what we can see here is I have first name, last name, phone number, and email addressed in mine, but we do have the ability to link additional customer data here, and always happy to go over what that looks like on an individual basis with anyone who's interested in learning more. From the knowledge base, we're going to jump into the decision tree. The decision tree is where we're actually setting up when the bot is going to engage. And as we can see here, it's when we receive an inbound phone call. Anytime a customer calls directly into or is forwarded into this number, they're going to be speaking to my Voice AI bot, Grace. Their first impression of the bot is always going to be a verbatim greeting message. My bot's going to say, hey, hope you're doing well. Thanks for calling Hatch Heating and Cooling. How can I help you today? The greeting message is always going to be verbatim. Always like to point that out because if you do have any type of standard greeting message the team is expected to live and breathe by, the bot can do the same. Once we move along from setting up that trigger and that greeting message is when we're giving that bot those prompts and that guardrails essentially on how we want that conversation to go. So the first background we've given my bot is that it is a highly trained customer service representative. We've also given my bot some instructions on identifying where the customer is in a service area. The first call that we're going to run through in just a moment is going to be if a customer were to be outside of a service area and what that live call transfer would look like. And Chris from our product team is going to help me demonstrate what that is going to look like on your team's end. So if a customer were to be outside of the service area, we're going to go ahead and transfer directly to that number. But we're also teaching the bot to understand customer needs, whether it's for a repair service, maintenance, installation request, general questions, and we're actually building out individual prompts for the bot to understand kind of the qualification process or understanding process of any of these requests that the customer may be calling in regards to. We also have the ability to tell the bot when to pull pieces of information from the knowledge base that we were just covering, which is essentially where we have onboarded that bot with any type of relevant information about the business, the customers, or what we may have to offer this month. So what we can see is we're referencing products from the business profile that we have scraped the website for to answer any questions around kind of replacing installation estimates, whatever that may be. We're also teaching the bot here how to respond to objections and how to teach the customer about the business. So a basic objection that we've all heard, how much will this cost me, is something we can easily build into the bot and incorporate in an everyday talk track for the bot to be able to overcome and go for that booking to ensure that we are seeing those ideal kind of increases in booking rates that Kristen mentioned before. As we move along, what we can see is after the bot has gone through kind of that qualification and identifying the customer's process, it's going to go ahead and start setting up that appointment. So what we can see at the very end is the bot is actually just going to say something along the lines of, do you have any other questions that I'm able to help out with? And if not, the bot is going to essentially end that conversation and disposition it exactly on the sales board where it belongs, whether that was a service, sold, or booked. I will go ahead now and stop sharing this screen because what we're going to do instead is actually go ahead and give Grace a call. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my dialer, and we are going to now run through with Chris what it looks like if a customer were to call from outside the service area.
Hey, hope you're doing well. Thanks for calling Hatch Heating and Cooling. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I was actually giving you guys a call because my heater stopped working.
Oh no, that sounds frustrating, especially if it's getting chilly. I want to make sure we can assist you. Can I start by getting the city or town where you need service?
Yeah, I'm in Manhattan, New York.
I appreciate you reaching out to Hatches. Unfortunately, Manhattan, New York is outside our current service area. However, let me connect you with someone who can help direct you to the right resources. One moment, please. I'll transfer you to someone who can help. Please hold.
And as you can see on my side, I'm actually in that live transfer call right now.
And so essentially what happens when your member of the team receives that live transfer, we want to provide an ideal customer experience. We don't want that CSR, sales rep, whoever that may be that's picking up that call to go in blind. We want to make sure that they are well-versed on the situation and able to finish that booking or answering that customer's question. So what it would do from there is essentially whisper to someone like Chris, hey, this customer was from outside the service area. I've gone ahead and transferred you this call. So a really great way just to make sure that we are providing a consistent, positive customer experience. Now that we've run through what a live transfer is going to look like, we're going to go ahead and give the bot a call and run through a full booking.
Hey, hope you're doing well. Thanks for calling Hatch Heating and Cooling. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I was giving you guys a call because my heater just stopped working.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear your heater stopped working. That sounds super frustrating, especially with the colder weather. Before we dive in, can I start by getting the city or town where you need service?
Yeah, I'm in Hancock, Maine.
Great. Hancock is definitely within our service area. Can you tell me a bit more about what's happening with your heater? Like, how long has it been not working?
Just a few days.
Thanks for letting me know it's been a few days. Can you describe what happens when you try to use the heater? Like, is it not producing any heat at all, making strange noises, or something else?
Yeah, it's just not turning on. No noises or anything.
Got it? It's just not turning on at all with no noises. Do you happen to know how old your heating system is? Or if you're not sure how long you've lived in the home.
I would say it's probably about 5 years old.
Thanks. That helps a lot. I completely understand how frustrating this must be, especially with Maine winters. You've definitely called the right place. We can get someone out to help you. Our technician will do a thorough evaluation to find out what's causing the heater not to turn on. Then you'll get upfront written pricing before any repairs begin, so no surprises. Once you approve, the technician will get it fixed. Can I collect some information from you so we can get you scheduled as soon as possible?
I'm going to know the cost up front, right?
Absolutely. You'll get the full pricing upfront in writing before any work starts. There are no surprises, and you only proceed if you're comfortable with the cost. Would you like to go ahead and schedule an appointment to have one of our technicians come take a look?
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. Can I get your full name to start with?
Yeah, it's Brandy Jackson.
Thanks, Brandy. Can I have your email address as well?
Sure. It's brandy@jackson.com.
Thanks for that. So your email is brandy@jackson.com, right?
Correct.
Got it. Now, can I please get the best phone number to reach you at? You can say it however is easiest for you.
804-635-2960.
Got it. So what I have down is 804-635-2960. Is that right?
Yep.
Thanks for confirming that. Are you the homeowner, or is this a rental property?
Homeowner.
Thanks for that. I have some openings coming up on Thursday, the 30th, and Friday, the 31st. Would either of those days work for you?
I could do tomorrow.
Great. For Friday, the 31st, I have morning availability at 8 to 10 a.m. and 10 a.m. to noon. Would either of those times work for you?
Actually, 8 to 10 would be great.
Perfect. Before I lock that in, can I get your service address, including street, city, state, and zip code?
Yeah, it is 18 Point Road, and that's here in Hancock, Maine. And my zip is 04640.
Thanks for that. Just to be sure, that's 18 Point Road, Hancock, Maine, zip 04640, right?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a second while I try to book an appointment for you. Awesome. Your appointment is confirmed for tomorrow, Friday the 31st, from 8 to 10 a.m. Our dispatch team will contact you on the day of your appointment with a more specific arrival time, so you won't need to wait around all day. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, I appreciate the help. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you for calling. Have a great day.
And so what we essentially ran through pretty quickly was what it looks like to manage a bot on the sales board, what it looks like to build out a bot going through the persona, knowledge base, and decision tree, as well as what it looks like to have 2 live examples of conversations with a bot like Grace, whether we're transferring it to a member of the team who's going to be able to finish taking care of the customer or handling an entire booking throughout. So I hope everyone enjoyed. And if anyone's interested in learning more, let Kristen know.
Thank you so much, Brandy. That was super, super helpful and really shows a few different scenarios that will go with your customers when they're calling in to a voice AI bot, and really shows sort of the depth of the questioning that it'll go through to really understand what the issue is it in the service area, and get those bookings actually made. Before we kind of move it over to Chris and talk about kind of what's up next with voice AI, I know we just went through a lot of information, so please put any questions, reactions, input, anything that you have on your mind into the chat, and we're going to answer that right after that. But moving over to Chris, do you want to share a little bit about what we have in the pipeline for voice AI next?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the main things that we really want to emphasize here at Hatch is that we want to give each of your businesses a customizable agent that can really match your business SOPs as closely as possible and give your customers the best experience possible. So we're constantly evolving our platform to better meet your SOPs and better give your customers that human experience that you want to give them, whether that's improvements on sort of our AI voice technology stack, the ability to consider like, business hours versus after hours policies, or sort of expand our ability to plug into your systems, like, increasing our coverage of CRMs and scheduling tools. We're ultimately working on basically continuing to build this out so that you've got more flexible templates and you've got the best possible solution that can kind of integrate directly exactly how your business works.
Awesome. Exciting stuff in the works. Cool. Let's go ahead and move it over to Q&A. I think there's a question that just came in. How does the AI agent handle situations where users speak unclearly, too quietly, or have background noise? Great question. Curious, Chris or Brandy, if you want to jump in with experiences you've seen with customers that deal with that.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways that we can go about that. One thing that we do pretty regularly, and I have to thank Chris and Diana from our product team for it, is take our customer feedback very seriously. And so when we hear, that there's ever any type of like latency or response issues, if the bot's, having trouble hearing their customers or anything like that, that's something that they are continuing to evolve on a regular basis. So making sure that we are isolating background noise to be able to clearly hear customers, and also trying to make sure that the bot is going to be able to be clearly heard by customers. So we are always working to make sure that we are isolating as much background noise as possible to be able to as clearly and directly from the customer hear what they're looking for as far as an intended service or time of service. I hope that helps, Roden. So let me know if there's any additional questions on that.
I can also chime in here from other aspects of the product that help contribute to this too. Yeah, you'll have noticed in the call with Brandy that the voice bot does a fair amount of confirmation anytime Brandy is sharing any key information around the phone number and around the service address. In the background, we are actually validating that. So in cases where it may be hard to hear a phone number or hard to hear an address, we do actually check in the background to validate that what we heard is actually like a valid phone number or a valid address, to make sure that before anything makes it into your CRMs, we've validated with the customer that we properly heard that information before anything gets written.
That's awesome. A great point. Before we do more questions, I'm just going to quickly run a poll. Let me just launch it now. This is just for the, oh gosh, I already messed up option C. Guys, ignore option C. This is a poll just for if you want somebody to, at the end of this webinar, you will get the recording will be sent to you. It'll be an automatic recording. We are also going to do like a little write-up, recap, blog post. So we will share that either tomorrow or early next week. But this poll is just designed for if you are an existing Hatch customer and you want somebody to reach out to you, if you want to learn more about voice AI or even SMS and email AI, or even if you need help with something else in your account and you just like haven't gotten around to reaching out yet, raise your hand and we will have your account manager reach out to you. If you are not yet a Hatch customer and you are interested in learning about Hatch, voice AI, SMS AI, or email AI, you can choose option B. Do not choose option 3 because that wouldn't make any sense. So this poll will continue to run, and now we can get back to the questions. I see a lot coming in, so
awesome. Go for it. Yes, many questions, which is great. DC asks, is there an option to repeat the whisper when transferring to an agent/department? Chris, I don't know if you want to speak a little bit on kind of the technical side of that.
I believe right now with our implementation, it plays once, although summary of the conversation is always available inside of the Hatch app as well with a transcript. I think that is good feedback in terms of us. We can adjust that so that it can repeat. So far, I guess with most live transfer implementations, that hasn't come up yet because the actual transfer voice is fairly even keel and fairly clear, like enunciating stuff. But definitely good feedback if that's a concern that comes up with the live transfer system.
Awesome. Another question came in from Deanna. When will your voice AI communicate with written AI to avoid customer confusion and make the system better? We signed up for both a month or more ago, but haven't been fully onboarded yet.
Yeah, so that is what I would call like basically like multi-channel contextual information, right? So like our text-based SMS bots and our actual phone bots being able to communicate to each other about like, I just got this, text from this person. This is context about that conversation before you like start that phone call. That is on our roadmap. We are actively working on making sure that there's kind of like this unified customer knowledge base for each of your customers that are in Hatch, so that across your channels there's like a unified view of things. That plays into like what I was talking about how we want to continue to evolve the actual bot to understand your business and your customers better so that you can give them the best experience possible.
Awesome. Another question here from Rodney: is voice AI only for inbound? We are an early adopter of Hatch Voice. We use it for speed to lead. Love to hear that. Along with our text and email templates, could we use voice AI with these campaigns? Great question. So at the moment, it is for inbound with voice specifically. Chris, I don't know if you want to touch on our plans for outbound.
Yeah, I'm smiling because this is a request we get a lot, and it is definitely on our roadmap. It's actually under active development right now. So definitely let your AM know you're interested because we will be alpha and beta testing quite soon outbound as well. So excited for that.
And yes, Rodney, you were an early adapter of the voice AI. So thanks for working with us.
Love to hear that. We did skip over one question.
Sorry about
Do
that.
you have Scott wants to know, do you have a demo site so we can test the system? I can contribute to that answer, but Brandy or Chris or Steven, I'll hand it off to any of you guys first.
A demo site, more so if you're like wanting to demo the product, it would typically be best to let us know, if you're a current customer or if you're not a current customer, and then we can set up some time and go over with you, what it looks like to try the product.
Yeah, we don't have like a demo Hatch account set up that you could play around with. And the reason for that being that like it's very hard to actually simulate that because we are connecting to your CRM data, all of your contacts, your campaigns are very specific to your business. But as Brandy said, she can walk you through what that setup would look like for your business, and you can ask questions as they relate to your specific setup. Hopefully that answers your question, Scott.
I will definitely plug trying a free trial of some kind because our onboarding team is really, really skilled at actually taking your SOPs. And if you're well integrated into like Hatch already, like setting up a bot that really like meets your needs, so you can really see what it would look like integrated into your business.
Awesome.
Great.
Kind of on the same note as the onboarding process, Brett asked a really good question. Can you go a little deeper into how scheduling is automated? My company, a training company, has a pretty complex algorithm that goes into how to put students into classes. Does your product handle this natively, or the logic needed to build it elsewhere? Don't know, Brandy, would you want to go into sort of what the onboarding for these different complex issues look like?
For sure. So Brett, as far as your company, the training company, as far as the complex algorithm goes, that's nothing that the bots are unprepared to handle. As far as the prompting that we walked through, we take that algorithm and kind of everything that you and your team are taking into account when looking at a booking process or a booking opportunity. And we actually build that and test that with the bot in the prompt to make sure that we are only working with bookings that you and your team would deem to be, quality bookings. As far as like, handling it natively, I'm wondering, like if you're talking about booking, and if so, we would need to probably see, what you're currently using as a booking tool. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and I think this might also kind of be similar to like how service businesses kind of determine who they send out to a job. Because I'm looking at it like how to put students into classes. So yeah, you could probably set up rules for how. Actually, now I'm thinking out loud. My brain's going dead. But it's a training company, so it's an algorithm around how to put students into classes. So my question would be like, what is that are the students, is it like, are you qualifying them and then deciding like where you want, like which kind of path you want them to go down? I think it would kind of depend on that as well.
Yeah. Cool. See, Deanna asked a few questions here. will the bot stop a written campaign that's in progress if it spoke to a customer and scheduled them, and vice versa? Short answer, if I'm understanding this correctly, is yes. Don't know if you want to jump in, Chris, on like the technical side of that, but
I will just say that so in terms of communication between the bots, the text bots and the phone bots, I will say both can add dispositions to particular contacts. Like that still does exist. And so that is a relevant thing that can be considered, I believe, when you're setting up campaigns on the text side. So there are ways to set this up right now, although the vision we're trying to go to is full, complete conversational context on all the conversations that happen across multi-channel in terms of what we're building towards.
Awesome. Another question from her: what is the standard onboarding timeframe? We signed up for both in mid-September, so that is dependent on all the integrations you're setting up, all the number of bots that you're doing, how many campaigns. So it can really range depending on what your needs are. Brandy, I don't know if you have any input on sort of what you see generally for the onboarding time process.
So it really kind of depends on, exactly how, intricate we're getting with our prompting and the qualification process and everything that we want the bot to follow. I am curious, are you working with your dedicated voice AI account manager? We do have, some updates as far as Hatch goes, where we have recently actually added some voice AI dedicated account managers to ensure that we are providing a speedy and productive onboarding process. But it does depend on testing and everything. Generally, it doesn't take more than about 4 weeks to probably get a bot launched with one of our voice managers.
Yeah, and I'm seeing, we also have in the very beginning, you have to make sure your 10DLC is approved. There's a compliance component to that. And, I'm seeing here, Deanna, you have some more questions about the bots communicating with one another. As Chris had mentioned, the bots can refer to CRM data. So if something, and this is another thing people do mention in the case studies, they do like that their campaigns kind of work with each other and don't clash. But you make a good point here in your question about, is there any way we can sign up for a beta test when you connect the two bots? We set up a pretty aggressive follow-up campaign with 21 touch points on SMS alone. I'm worried that customers will feel spammed. I would recommend, Deanna, having a more involved conversation with your account manager, because a follow-up campaign with 21 touch points can get messy, to your point. So, for example, if you have a follow-up campaign let's say you have an estimate follow-up campaign, you may only want to have, 7 to 10 touch points. And if they don't engage with that, then let it rest and then create a new campaign for, estimate follow-ups that, went dead for, wait a week or two and start a new campaign. Creating more, you don't obviously want to add more complexity, but separating those campaigns out can help in that sense, because to your point, customers may actually feel like they're getting spammed if there's too many texts in one campaign.
Awesome. Cool. And I think we're caught up on questions at the moment. I know.
Yeah, actually, sorry, there is one more question.
Oh,
Deanna, you had mentioned Nina. So yes, we just sent out some email communications today for accounts that are belonging to Nina. So we'll get you taken care of there, Deanna. And then there was one other question. Can the bot send a text with our booking link to the customer? Yes, you can. Well, yeah, you can put it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brandy or Chris. You can put the booking message in a campaign message, but can you have the AI agent actually share a booking link?
So we are able to have the chatbot share a booking link, but we are not able to have the voice AI bot have the chatbot send a booking link, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good clarification.
Cool. Correct me if I missed any questions, but I think we are officially caught up now. One question, though, that I see come up pretty often that maybe we want to address is, can the bot speak in other languages? Like if a customer called in and was speaking Spanish, is that something that Hatch can handle? I know, Chris, might be something you want to answer.
Yeah. So we are experimenting with different models at the moment to try to give a good multilingual experience. That again is like part of the broader push we're trying to do to make stuff meet your customer and your business as much as possible. So we are experimenting with certain models that can actually dynamically switch between languages. If it's ambiguous at the start of the call whether or not someone, say, speaks Spanish or English, you could start off with an English intro, but as soon as you hear them speak Spanish, switch to Spanish. That is still in development and testing at the moment, though. So just want to give that clarification.
Awesome. Thank you. Another question from Dave here. We use the SMS email CSR at scale. If it doesn't communicate with the voice bot, how is that going to work at scale? Let's see if anyone wants to jump in with the technical aspect of how the bots communicate in that sense.
I guess just a clarification there. So like, it sounds like you've got some CSR stuff for like an SMS number and potentially an email address that you're working on with Hatch. I guess my question would be around like, I guess is the idea to additionally like have also a voice line to call in as well for the same CSR tasks, or are these meant for like different kind of like use cases?
Yeah, it's a good clarifying question. And while you answer that, Dave, I think maybe another aspect of that question is kind of back to that theme of if the SMS and email agents don't talk directly to the voice agents, if you're using SMS and email at scale with the AI agents, how could you scale it with voice as well? I would also venture to say that back to the CRM data, as Brandy showed, you can train your bot to reference specific CRM data. And as Chris mentioned, you can disposition, the AI agent can disposition conversations and send information back to the CRM. So there is, in essence, a pretty good standard knowledge base right now. But yes, in the future, we are looking for a state where the AI agent would have full knowledge of all of that automatically. I would also say that there are many instances, of course, because customers use multiple channels to communicate with you. So maybe you send an email out or you send a text out and an email out because you want to confirm an appointment. And maybe they text back and they say, confirmed, and that's done. That interaction is done. But yes, there's also times where people will call you back to confirm the appointment. So I understand that they communicate across channels, but also we do have several customers right now who are using the different AI agents in this separate sense because the SMS and email campaigns are a little bit more of an outbound motion where you're like following up on stuff and you're kind of initiating communication. And the inbound phone call answering is kind of handling when people are, calling you, especially for new service requests. So I guess my answer to that, Dave, is that it is working right now, but of course we are looking to get that to be a more unified knowledge base.
Yeah. Cool. Another question from Deanna here. Can the AI fully schedule something on our books, or does it only gather data and then hand off to an agent who then needs to schedule the appointment? I'll let anyone add additional color, but essentially it can be either. So you can set up your bot to just gather the information and then send it to your team. So then someone can follow up and schedule the appointment like by human. Or you can integrate it with platforms like we have native integration with ServiceTitan if that's something that you use to schedule appointments. So it really depends on what workflow is best for your team. But yeah, depending on what scheduling platforms you use, we can find a way to usually integrate that depending on the platform.
Yeah, and I would say that we have a mix of use cases here. So as Steven said, like some of our customers who have right now our only calendar integration with the AI agents and scheduling on an actual calendar is with ServiceTitan. But we have plenty of customers who are using AI because they're actually still scheduling. What they'll do is you train the AI to tell them your business hours, your standard business hours. So in some cases, actually, there's two scenarios. One scenario would be the customer calls in, the AI gathers the information and says, thank you for giving me this information. We're going to have somebody reach out to you to confirm scheduling. So you instruct the bot very clearly, do not give an appointment, tell them somebody will call. And for most of for that use case, what our customers really like about that is the their customer is taken care of. Like if you're leaving a voicemail, they call the voicemail black hole. Like, hi, I'm having a problem. Will somebody call me back? You have no idea if anybody's going to call you back. So they can actually get in touch with an entity in your business and they're like, okay, we've got your information. We have this. They're repeating it back to you. That person is no longer going to find other businesses. They know that someone is going to call them back. Scenario B, and we see this all the time, is actually the AI agent will actually, for all intents and purposes, book the appointment. They'll say what time and what day and time works for you. And then the person will tell them and they'll say, okay, great. And they will say it's scheduled. And then the person on the other end just double checks and says, okay, if that slot is open, it all depends on your business model and, you know, what kind of complexity you have in the size. But if that slot is open, great. He doesn't even have to call and confirm, like it's all taken care of. In some cases, they may have to call back and rectify it, but it kind of just depends on your setup there.
Cool. Another follow-up from Deanna is they're using House Call Pro. I know we have other customers that are also using them. Not sure if anyone has any more insight on how that connection works that other customers have set up.
I will say that like Kristen is right that in terms of the like direct integration built into our calendar command for the agent right now, it's primarily Service Titan focused, but our platform is actually pretty flexible in terms of being able to do like custom workflows and stuff like that. That just usually involves like an account manager setting up some things on a separate automations platform. But we do have a pretty robust like system to basically send out information as conversations end to like separate, more bespoke, like custom systems or some of those other kind of CRMs.
Awesome. Before I jump to your questions, Dave, one other question from Deanna. Is it robust enough to replace the call center? We've had many customers actually replace their call centers with voice AI and had amazing results. We were just speaking to a customer for success story a few weeks ago, and they completely got rid of their call center immediately in 60 days, saw $365,000 of new revenue come in that was handled by AI. It was voice and SMS and email. So yeah, we've seen many people save a ton of money and have it fully replace their call center.
Yeah, we've seen replacements. We've seen, you know, obviously that can also be a sensitive topic because we also don't really want to, you know, we're not here for the AI to take anybody's job. But what we do find is that some teams just find that now they can scale without having to add on additional headcount, especially, for example, for seasonality. You know, if you staff your company enough to handle a 100-degree day in July, you're going to have way too many staff when, you know, during a shoulder season. So the AI just serves as a really good, like, your ability to scale up and back without having to hire or fire people. The other point to that is it can replace a call center, but that all depends on the size of your call center, right? Some people have like a 2-person call center, and that's like they're handling a lot. And so what they do is like they bring the AI on, and again, they've been able to scale up the amount of calls and SMS and touch points and lead volume. Some of them, if you're purchasing leads, they can kind of throttle that and increase lead volume without having to add more headcount. And then the other option is like, you know, yeah, you could, you know, you may still have one person managing. You know, we had another customer who has a call center of one person, but this person is now basically the manager and she is managing an AI workforce. So it all kind of depends on what your, you know, how big your team is, what you're looking to scale. But yes, it absolutely is robust enough to be able to do the work, to automate this kind of work.
Awesome. Now jumping back to Dave. So we would then replace our missed call campaigns with the voice AI agent. Can you have it reference Service Titan notes to see what the SMS conversation was? We want to use it. We have 8 locations. We're using the SMS email for it. I just need to make sure that it isn't going to cause customer confusion at the end of the day. If someone with more technical knowledge than me wants to talk about the actual integration, how that works, referencing those Service Titan notes, that would be helpful.
Right. So like a couple of points here. As we mentioned before, like at the moment right now, voice is mainly like inbound oriented. Outbound is going to get released soon. And And so that's one thing to keep in mind, I guess, in terms of thinking about campaigns and outbound capabilities. Another thing is that, as Kristen has mentioned, we have really, really good integrations with different CRMs. Usually, it's generally recommended to have your like voice account manager assist you with some of the stuff, just because if anyone's ever been inside ServiceTitan, stuff can get a little complicated inside there. But we can reference that data in terms of giving the bot some extra context on a particular like CRM record and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And for those of you on the call who may not know what Dave is talking about, so with the ServiceTitan integration for our SMS and email, kind of the outbound campaigns that we do, you can create a campaign that targets call disposition. So if somebody calls in and hangs up, or if it's a missed call, that's the kind of campaign that he's talking about. So that makes sense, Dave, that you would want to say, well, instead of having us call back after instead of having them reach out with a text when they've missed the call, why not just have them get the call in the first place? So great point. But yes, as Chris is saying, like every interaction does get recorded in ServiceTitan, because our goal is to make it so your CRM remains the single source of truth. That is like crucial, right? Because not everybody that is using Hatch, or not everybody in your organization that is communicating with customers, is actually using Hatch. So we do make it so that your sales team or anybody that's not using Hatch can reference notes in ServiceTitan. So as Chris said, now I'm just repeating him, but you can create certain setups so that it can reference particular information in the CRM. And that is also why we do have dedicated account managers and solutions engineering who can come in and help with this, because we understand that, tech ecosystems for any one business is very unique. So we want to kind of work within those within that system.
Awesome. Cool. I think we are caught up on questions. Still feel free to drop any in the chat if you have any, because we still have some time. Again, if you have not responded to the poll that Kristen sent, go ahead and do that, just so we can make sure, if you are interested in voice, whether you're a customer or not yet a customer, we want to make sure we connect you with the right person to kind of go through how we can make voice work best for your company specifically and your goals.
Awesome.
Wait just a few more seconds in case a question comes through. But thank you all so much for joining. Again, let us know if this is something that's going to be interesting. Oh, another one. Oh, awesome. For call forwarding to a CSR, can you have it pick different numbers on staff schedules? Yes, you can pick. Well, you can pick which number it goes to. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. The actual scheduling of which time a number would be transferred to, would you have to do different bots for that?
So I guess if the particular question is like for that live transfer function that we demoed, can you route to different numbers for different conditions? If that is a question, then yes, you can prompt that logic in, have separate transfer commands to kind of map out if you've got either a call center or IVR kind of style tree of like inbound calls of this kind should go to this phone number. That is something you can definitely recreate inside of the agent prompt to route to different phone numbers.
Awesome. We are going to prompt ours for emergency calls after hours. Awesome. Yeah, that's a use case we see very often for after hours and overflow. So that is definitely a great solution. Well, cool. If there's no other questions, again, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Brandy, Chris, and Kristen for joining as well and giving all your insight. This has been super, super helpful.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. I don't know how to stop this. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna click end on it, and then it'll just cut out. Bye.